Welcome to the program, coming to you from Canberra, where today several thousand protesters converged to rage against the proposed carbon tax. The coalition says they're the voice of Middle Australia, but the Treasurer dubbed it a climate skeptics rally. There's no denying their anger or that they express the increasing bitterness of the climate change debate that's reflected in the highest offices of the land.
We'll start a revolution, make the streets free, we will fight the war, we have to. Sing this one. We can't be beaten, we can't be beaten.
From mid-morning the buses began to arrive, mostly from Sydney, but from other points as well. A battalion of cars, some from as far away as the Mornington Peninsula, helped to swell the crowd. The signs ranged from the direct, through to the comic, to the offensive. There was an array of grievances, but one central theme. By noon, a crowd of several thousand gathered on the lawn outside Parliament House. It looked less to sceptics.
They could only mobilise less than 1,500 people.
And more to believers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have exceeded 3,000 people.
But judged against other protests on this lawn, it was big. Mostly the demographic was older, but there were younger people in the mix. They were united by their anger. There were some familiar faces on the ground.
People are struggling. I don't think she has any idea.
And a simple message in the air. It was an opportunity tailor-made for the opposition.
I do not see scientific heretics. I do not see environmental vandals. I see people who want honest government. I don't think this is about climate change. Climate change happens. Mankind does make a contribution. It's important to have an intelligent response, not a stupid one.
Others were more blunt.
She lied to you.
There was a lineup of coalition MPs, but two faces were missing from the team. Former leader Malcolm Turnbull and Shadow Treasurer Joe Hockey.
How would you characterise the people that are here today?
I think it's a representative snapshot of Middle Australia.
Julia Gillard was talking to a different Australia and choosing different images.
If we are going to drive this clean energy future, we must price carbon.
And she had a younger audience.
We'll still be around in 2050 when we're seeing the impacts of climate change. Unfortunately, many of our politicians will not.
The Leader of the Opposition.
The very different days of the two politicians finally collided in question time.
On behalf of the thousands of people who were gathered outside Parliament House today, who the Prime Minister would not talk to. So I asked the Prime Minister, will she seek a mandate for her carbon tax before she introduces legislation into this House? Will she seek to make the next election a referendum on her unnecessary new tax?
On the question of attending the rally outside Parliament House today, I'm not aware that I was invited, Mr Speaker, but as I understand it, the Leader of the Opposition did not lack for red-headed company out at that rally, Mr Speaker. He had a red-headed friend out at that rally, so I'm sure he would not have missed me.
The government dismissed the protesters as deniers.
So he was out there today addressing a rally of climate change sceptics.
And it tied the opposition leader to the worst excesses of the mob.
The decision by the Leader of the Opposition to associate himself with the placards we saw today, the messages that have been provided and the groups that have participated is unbefitting a leader of a major political party in this country.
For the coalition, everything is reduced to a moment of truth.
Does she honestly believe that she would be in the Lodge today if 6 days before the last election she had been straight with the Australian people and said up front to them, yes, there will be a carbon tax under the government I lead?
If he wants to debate political honesty in this place, then bring it on. Because did he go to the Australian people before the last election telling them about his $11 billion black hole.
And bring it on they did. Make no mistake, this is a genuinely bitter argument. Neither side can now give ground. And for Julia Gillard and Tony Abbott, it will be winner take all.
What do we want?